Crazy day. I've been stressed the fuck out. So I apologize that I'm late. You know the deal. This is where I yell and scream in the clouds. Definitely need my therapy today. The political scene is crazy right now, and I'll just give you a real quick synopsis because today was one of those days where everything went wrong. My work truck fucking broke. Screen is fucking fucked up, and I'm behind on something that was due today, and I'm spinning my wheels. Truth be told, so it's not one of those fun days, and I won't stop until I get shit done. So I'm basically running on fumes right now. So it's the nature of the beast. It's the part of me that goes obsessive when I get a job, and then I end up spinning my wheels. And maybe I should be asking for help when when I'm not. That's the deal. Anyway, truth be told, the abortion thing is still front and center. I've got a lot of people in my inbox talking about it. I'm not a woman. I don't understand what the fixation is for men, for women to be so vociferous about this and have a strong opinion on it, as if you're some champion for the unborn. It's so fucking weird to me. I do believe it's a slippery slope. You know, somebody posted something today talking about how the law, this was an attorney talking about the lawlessness required to turn precedent of this nature for Roe v. Wade. So, his comment in my inbox was such that, there was a poll that really talked about the majority of Americans don't want to get rid of abortion. Okay. And so this is something that's political nature. It's a fringe part of our country that has taken over. They elected Trump. You know, you can't say they're fringe because they're mainstream, but the truth is people were bamboozled, and then they were played upon with their fears of tribalness and not belonging. And so they just stuck to the fucking plan and voted for Trump, and then allowed these justices to come on board. There's a lot of folks that are pro abortion or pro choice on the right, that maybe don't speak up, or maybe they had abortions themselves and they just don't want people to know their position. But it's true. So majority of the people in this country want abortion to be stay legal and safe. It makes sense for it to stay safe. I've always said everything should not be forced into the darkness. When things go dark, things get fucked up. You know, the scary stuff that you hear about people doing clothes hanger abortions and shit like that. You can't fathom it today, right? But that shit went on. Just like you might not be able to fathom, buying and selling people, but that shit happens all the time, and it happened. It was one of the founding tenets of this country. So, the shit that you don't fucking believe happens. And the truth is that by putting something in the shadows, we're just forcing people to make choices that are difficult and unhealthy, and basically, taking away their right to have a safe alternative, which is their prerogative. So it's so bizarre, but the idea that was posted, the concept that was discussed in my inbox was from this, wise attorney fella, and he was talking about the fact that these justices essentially lied during their confirmation, and then overturned, precedent. Precedence, is something that is built over time. It's not something that, just comes from a landmark case. Typically, these things are chipped away on the circuits and the circuit courts, and through lawsuits and different rulings, things start to build. And so once you have a precedent, it's like a foundation where things are built. So to overturn that means you're unearthing all the things and all the cases, or any kind of um, thing that was decided, law that was decided, or statute that was decided because of these precedent, now will fall apart. And that doesn't just mean abortion rights. It doesn't just mean, it doesn't mean the things that you think it's focused on. These things they kind of have a ripple effect. And so when you unravel precedent like that, you're going to unravel a whole string of other things that may not even be related to abortion, but maybe have to do with the undue burden that's put on folks by the state. Maybe it has to do with privacy, and now privacy is redefined because now that was the initial, reason for Roe's reason to go to trial, but then it became undue burden, and so maybe now both of those things are now no longer determined. And the fact that if you overturn it and you say the Constitution no longer protects them, It's not it's not something where a constitutional right protects their right to abortion. Now you start to look at it and say, well, what else does the Constitution not protect? That maybe we fell under that same umbrella. So it's weird. I'm not an attorney. These are things that are coming from legal minds in my inbox saying how stupid and lawless these things are. So it's more than just, the idea that abortions are now going to be troublesome. It's the fact that we have, and by the way, I'm not minimizing that. We just have a lawless court right now. It's a lawless court. It's a court that's saying, fuck it. This is how I feel. Ignore precedent. These are judges that are doing this. And so you can get excited about it if you're, somebody that's pro-life because you think this is a good thing. But right now what we have is we're saying that the Supreme Court can unilaterally just decide to unravel a precedent without an issue. And that means a lot of things to a lot of folks. Maybe this is above your pay grade, it's above mine. But these are the things that the people that pay attention use to get the society that they believe in. They participate in democracy to, much to the detriment of everyone else. And so, if you're sitting there saying, fuck this, Nate, you're so fucking, this is bullshit. I don't care. It's Biden and this and Trump that. There's a lot more complexity to this. And this is why we will lose our democracy to the fringe right or the fringe left, and most likely the fringe right, because the fringe left can't even get their shit together to tie their shoes. So I doubt that they can even coalesce enough people to swing us one way or the other. And God forbid we have the radical left take over and they're pushing for healthcare for everybody and everything else. To suggest that they're going to bring socialism to this country is fucking farcical at best, but it certainly is the way that the fears genned up. But, these are the things that people pay attention, or people that want to have a life or create this future society, people that think about the end game, and maybe not the same way you and I do, but they're trying to do things to make it so that this country fits their worldview, as opposed to, saying, hey, look, that doesn't fit my worldview, but that's not affecting me, so it doesn't matter. I've got, instead of trying to, control their entire environment and world, like everything they see and hear, they want to ban things that don't agree with them. It's like, it's kind of ironic that these are the same people that said, liberal tears and you're snowflakes and there's such, men are losing their alpha male status. Tucker Carlson has a whole video talking about how men are just, have less testosterone today than they did, and all this lame ass shit. And meanwhile, these folks are the ones that are, so fragile that, God forbid, a book is in a library that their kid doesn't have to check out, but God forbid it exists. They have to make sure that that no one else has access to it, because they get uncomfortable when you talk about, my body parts and so forth. So it's a weird fucking infuriating projection that I see from the Republican Party consistently. And the Democrats don't, they're literally like a limp dick just sitting there, but everything's ready to go. They're not ready to go, and they can't even get excited to get ready to go. And I mean, that's really what it feels like. And maybe I'm hoping again the women will save us. I've said this so many fucking times, it bears repeating again. But women now, because of the attack that's happened to women, I feel like that's our best, our best mobilization kind of demographic, because they are fired up right now, and rightly so. Rightly so. We have abortion panels made up of nothing but men suggesting that they are going to control the vagina. It's fucking insane. So all this stuff's going on. I'm definitely doing a horrible job communicating right now at my job, and so this is stressing me out. And so I'm feeling that, American grind. By the way, I make good money and all that stuff, so that makes it more pressure for me. But I'm feeling this kind of stress of American life and that need to make sure I'm succeeding in all facets. And I always do a horrible job of balancing things. But and then you got these external events that happen that hopefully you're dodging those pitfalls. Right now it's abortion, right now it's women, but next week it'll be CRT and the black man, and then the LGBTQ people, and anything that's different or doesn't fit this fucking old-fashioned view is under attack, while I'm still dealing with my own demons and working through my own struggles in my personal life. And this is kind of the problem with with people in politics is that, you know, the problems that you face sometimes detract you from actually doing the things that are going to help you to get out of that problem. And so, you know, right now I'm sitting here focused on work and consumed with trying to do this thing. Meanwhile, you know, it prevents me from doing other things that might be activist or going out into this thing or going to this event. And so, you know, I have a lot of privilege because I have the ability to do some of these things. But even mentally right now, I feel like I'm in a prison and I can see the world kind of crumbling outside of myself and seeing these things and the attacks that are happening to our basic rights. And I'm just like, you know, it's like, fuck. I need a fucking I need a fucking sugar daddy. That's what I need, a sugar mommy or sugar daddy. But anyway, so, but this, you know, again, I hate to come on here and gripe about my situation because I have a good situation, but I get inside myself just like everyone else. And then when you're trying to kind of focus on those issues and you see, you know, the stupidest shit going on in the political realm and in the, you know, and things that are going to affect people for generations, you're like, what the fuck? It kind of makes you want to throw your hands up in the air and say, what the fuck am I doing it for? What's the end game here for these folks? And are we even going to have a democracy when it's all done? You know, I've got what? I'm halfway through my life. And so you could argue that why do I give a fuck about what's coming? I don't have any kids. I don't know. Maybe because I give a fuck about kind of this whole thing we got going on with the human race. And I believe that people should be able to thrive when they live. And it seems like there's an energy in this country to force people to live a certain way, regardless of whether or not that makes them comfortable, and whether it has to do with their reproductive choices or whether it has to do with their sexual preference or their sexual identity or their color or anything that doesn't fit the fucking cisgen white male or female is just, you know, somehow they're trying to twist the knob so they can get that stuff out of sight, out of mind. And that's what it feels like. And so there's a lot of folks watching this saying, you know what, Nate, I'm so tired of the identity politics. We just need to talk about solutions. And that's because you're not on the ballot. That's because you have never been kind of this political attack or, you know, kind of downtrodden by society. Oh, sure, the Irish were beat up. I know that. I know what history has done to certain segments and demographics of white people, but there's this ongoing right now, current in the reality thing happening, which is like pushing people into these other tribal groups. Abortion is such an easy one to divide people on because, you know, the people that are pro-life tend to have these fanciful ideas of what child rearing is for single mothers or child rearing is for everyone else because their own situation might be good, or maybe they come from privilege, that they think, you know what, abortion is just this awful barbaric idea and concept, when the truth is, you know, abortion should be safe, it should be legal, and it should be a personal decision that some woman makes based on how she, you know, on conversations with her and her doctor, if it need to be, even if she needs to have one with her doctor, depending on what it is. Again, I just feel like it's a whole thing where it's like, all right, pull everybody out of it and go towards the safety. This is a health issue, so make facilities that are safe. They should be able to do abortions anywhere they do any other procedure, especially if it's not, you know, that there's all kinds of different ways where they can do it that people, there's no recovery time, or there's not a huge recovery time depending on, you know, again, the viability. I'm not a fucking expert, by the way, but it's just logical to say that if this is a health procedure, that any hospital should be able to perform it, and it should be pretty much normalized to be a safe procedure. You know, that seems radical to people, but I guess once you make the leap into arguing that it's a fucking person inside you, then you really can't understand any other, you know, option, and you're stuck on the fact that, well, it's a person, so it's murder, when the truth is the person is the fucking, you're ignoring the person and you're talking about something that's growing inside them that you know, viability, you know, aside, is something that they have a prerogative to do with what they want. It's still part of their body. It's not something that you have. These aren't fucking factories where they just have people, and then once they're conceived, the government takes over the running and the regulation of that. That's really what the fuck's happening. And so the pro-lifers that are on the libertarian fence, don't even understand where you're living. But this is what's really happening is the government saying, yeah, once you are once a man inseminates a woman, or a person has an embryo growing inside them, they are now the property of the government, and the government can regulate that and decide how that person navigates their life. They may even be able to say where you can and can't go because of that fact. So it may be illegal to go into bars at some point if you're pregnant. It may be illegal to be around somebody who's smoking marijuana when you're pregnant, because the government now has a say in all this. And you're thinking, all those are good things. Okay, well, those aren't all good things if your situation is such that that's the only environment you have, or that's the only environment you're in. And again, it's so short-sighted, but people can't get outside of their box to even kind of talk about the nuance of how somebody could be living differently. So look, I'm going to close up. I'm going to get back to work. I'm not having a good time right now, so I'm just going to get back to it. I'd love to be able to deliver the stupid fucking button tomorrow that has all these issues, and so I'm going to try to get that done. Anyway, it's always fun coming into a system that's kind of organized differently, and then trying to kind of weave some kind of functionality across the entire platform. That's the nerd stuff I'm doing. But anyway, listen, thanks for still supporting me. I know you're probably looking at the views. I'm maybe have 10 views a video, which is fine for me. I'm again right now. I want to get to the point where I can get on here and rant and rave and make sense and be coherent, as well as some of these other ideas that have been percolating for a while. It's going to be the year of experimentation. So if this is the first time you're watching, you're like, what the fuck is this? This is what the fuck it is. It's me getting on, yelling and screaming about shit that I give a fuck about, and hopefully trying to move the needle for some people. There are people that watch me that consistently say, hey, look, you know what? I don't agree with your worldview. I don't even agree with you on abortion, but I hear it. I'm understanding it. So look, it's chipping away. It's just like that precedent. I'm chipping away at people's opinions. And, some people think this is useless and pointless. But as I said when I started this was done for Nate Bomberger primarily. The idea that I can actually have this forum and also change some hearts and minds is magnificent. So I'm excited about it. I still love it. As you can see, I'm winded. I'm definitely going to be grinding until I get over this little hump and feel like I'm delivering. So, with that being said, I'm going to get off, go back to the work, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Next week is the last week, and then I have a week off for mental health. Stay with me. Fucking keep vigilant. Make sure you're registered to vote. I need to check on my registration because I never got my mail-in voting. It's a whole pain in the ass. Anyway, make sure you get out there and vote if you give a shit about reproductive rights, and make sure you write, call, follow, yell at your senators, your representatives, and make your voice known, especially if you are somebody that gives a fuck about women. And hopefully everybody on this channel does. That's all I got for tonight. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 10:30. Thanks for the love. Keep following, liking, sharing, doing that dance. I got represent my pug too. So if you don't know, I got pug life going on too. I'm out of here. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 10:30. Or wait, today's Thursday. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I won't see you tomorrow. I'll see you Monday at 10:30. So have a good weekend if I don't see you beforehand. Peace.